Ever wonder what's happening inside some of the world's most advanced labs? Well, today we're taking a peek inside China's. We're going to see how a massive push in science is trying to tackle some of the biggest problems on Earth and what it all means for our future.
Yeah, that quote really says it all, doesn't it? It just perfectly captures this incredible ambition that's fueling a whole new wave of innovation. We're talking about everything from feeding the entire world to exploring the deepest secrets of the cosmos. Science is basically being set up as the engine for the whole country. So, come on, let's pop the hood and see what that engine's actually building.
All right, first up, let's talk about the big stuff, the really immediate, tangible problems that affect every single one of us. You know, things like keeping our planet livable. 9 billion. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the number of people we need to figure out how to feed by 2050. It's a number that probably keeps a lot of scientists up at night. I mean, feeding that many people, especially on a warming planet, it's one of the biggest challenges we've ever faced. And in China, you've got over 50,000 scientists whose entire job is to crack this very problem.
So, you've probably heard of the first green revolution, right? That was all about crossbreeding different crops. But this is something else entirely. The next big leap is all about decoding life itself. You have scientists like Dr. Li Can, who are literally sequencing the genetic code of thousands and thousands of different types of rice. What that lets them do is find the exact genes that control things like drought resistance or the ability to grow in salty soil. And with that knowledge, they can create a kind of super rice that can grow in places you'd never think possible.
Okay, let's switch gears to energy. We all love solar power, right? But it has one huge, obvious problem. The sun goes down. So what do you do then? Well, out in the Gobi Desert, there's a plant with a pretty brilliant solution. Get this. It uses 12,000 mirrors to focus sunlight and heat up 30,000 tons of salt. Yeah, salt. It gets so hot that it melts, and that molten salt basically acts like a giant battery, but for heat. It stores enough energy to keep generating electricity for up to 12 hours after sunset. That's clean, reliable power 24/7.
And it's not just about energy or food. Look at how this kind of high-tech thinking is being used for conservation. To save the incredibly rare Amur tiger, they built this massive, real-time monitoring system deep in a remote forest. We're talking thousands of cameras streaming data over 5G. And here's the cool part. An AI watches all that footage and can identify individual tigers just by their stripe patterns, which are as unique as our fingerprints. And the results? They're incredible. Poaching in that area? Gone. Completely eliminated. And the tiger population has more than doubled. That's a huge win. All right, so we've seen some amazing solutions for the problems we're facing right now. But let's shift gears. Let's look a little further into the foundational tech that's going to build tomorrow. We are about to dive into the truly strange and incredibly powerful world of quantum mechanics.
So, quantum entanglement. This has got to be one of the weirdest, most mind-bending ideas in all of science. Einstein himself called it spooky action at a distance. Here's the gist. You take two tiny particles and you link them. Then you can separate them by miles or even thousands of miles. The moment you look at one of them and see what it's doing, you instantly, and I mean instantly, know what the other one is doing. It's the spooky connection that scientists actually use to basically teleport information from the ground all the way up to a satellite. It's a huge step towards a totally new kind of communication.
So think about this for a second. In a world full of hackers, how could you ever send a message that is truly 100% unhackable? Well, the answer isn't a better password. It's another one of these bizarre quantum tricks. Okay, stick with me here. Imagine you flip a coin. While it's spinning in the air, is it heads or tails? It's kind of both, right? Not until it lands does it pick one. That's the basic idea behind superposition. A quantum particle can be both a 1 and a 0 at the exact same time. Now, if you use that particle to send a message, and some hacker tries to peek at it, the very act of them looking at it forces the spinning coin to land. It has to pick a state, either 1 or 0. That instantly breaks the quantum connection. And boom, the sender knows someone's listening in. It's like a self-destructing message. It is physically impossible to spy on it without getting caught. And this isn't some science fiction movie plot. This is happening right now. There's already a 2,000-kilometer-long network between Beijing and Shanghai that's been using this exact quantum wizardry to protect super-sensitive financial and government data since 2016. The unhackable internet? It's not coming soon. The first pieces are already here. And it gets even crazier when you apply these ideas to computing. A normal computer bit is either a 1 or a 0, but a quantum bit, a qubit, can be both at the same time. That means it can explore millions of solutions to a problem at once, and the power just explodes from there. Think about this. A quantum computer with just 50 of these qubits could, in theory, be more powerful than all the supercomputers on Earth. Combined, it's a completely different scale of power.
Okay, for this last part, we're going big, really big. We're talking about the biggest questions humanity has ever asked. These are the true moonshots, the projects that are all about figuring out our place in the cosmos. Just look at this thing. It's called the FAST telescope, and it is absolutely massive. It's a colossal radio dish built into a natural valley in the landscape. It's the most sensitive ear on the planet, capable of picking up the absolute faintest whispers from the edges of the universe. It's listening for everything, from new planets that could support life to, maybe even a signal from someone else out there.
100 million degrees Celsius. That is not a typo. That's 10 times hotter than the core of our own sun. And that's the temperature scientists are creating inside something called an artificial sun. It's an experimental fusion reactor. The whole goal is to do what the sun does, smash hydrogen atoms together to make helium, releasing just a ridiculous amount of energy in the process. And it's a big F, but if they can perfect this, we're talking about clean, safe, and basically limitless energy for everyone.
You know, it's pretty humbling when you stop and think about it. Everything we see when we look up at the night sky, every star, every galaxy, all of it, that's only about 4 or 5% of what's actually out there. The other 96%, we have almost no idea what it is. We just give it these mysterious names like dark matter and dark energy. So how do you find something that's literally invisible? Well, you launch a satellite called the Dark Matter Particle Explorer, or DAMPE for short, and it may have actually found something. It detected this really strange spike of energy out in space, a signal that our current physics just can't explain. Now, scientists are being super careful, but there's a chance, just a chance, that this could be the first clue we've ever seen of what dark matter actually is. And that really brings us to this quote from Pan Zhenwei, one of the leading quantum physicists. "It's time for the Chinese to also contribute something to the world." I think that perfectly sums up the spirit behind all of this. It's about a shift from following the scientific pack to leading it, and trying to contribute to that big, shared pool of human knowledge that benefits all of us. So what have we seen? We've got super rice that can grow in the desert, an internet that's physically impossible to hack, and we're searching for the 96% of the universe we can't even see. I mean, these projects are really pushing the limits of what we thought was possible. And yeah, they're happening in China, but the discoveries, they don't have borders. The big question we're left with is how will all of this change our shared future? For every single one of us.